Good evening, everybody. Welcome to round five of the Super Sunday Super Cup, presented by Ontario Time Attack, Hit Motorsports, 13 Motorsports, and Adrena Garage. I'm Jordan Mazzugli, as I introduce myself. I'm here with Joshua Cronin in the booth. Say hi, Josh.
Hello. Hello.
Hi,
How we
everybody.
doing? We have a big round today. Actually,
Yep,
it's the same as every other round. It's at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing the Lotus Exige V6 Cup car. Should be a nice, fun mid-engine car. Very lightweight. Got a decent amount of speed to it. Very flowy circuit. Should be a lot of fun this round.
absolutely. The Glen is a riot. And with the V6 Cup, they got good amount of power. I mean, the Glen's kind of funny. It's a very fast flowing track. It's actually kind of similar to uh, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in a lot of ways. Um, so we might see some pack racing. It's going to be very interesting, especially the first couple laps, as drivers try to take advantage of the draft and trying to get track position in a few key spots. So let's jump into the race feed. Drivers should just be qualifying right now. So they're just putting lap times down. And yeah, we got 60 minutes, 40 seconds of qualifying. Any, I guess, notes on the car or the track combination, Josh? I guess you were talking to the drivers a bit about strategy prior to the start of practice.
Yeah, so it's going to be another two-stopper. The drivers are talking. I think Thomas was doing some simulations where basically the ideal strategy seems to be to uh, they're gonna do two almost full tanks. That's because it's a two stop, two almost full tanks, and then a splash near the end. So they can kind of do. They're basically gonna need 90 something liters to do it, and I think it's a 40-liter tank. So they're gonna do like 33, 33, and then the remainder, rather than running 40, 80, and then having to splash at the very end. So that should kind of balance out the weight in the car, and minimizing time in pit in, uh, or minimizing time pitting in. That's kind of the strategy. It seems to be dominant. Tires, not 100% sure. They might be taking tires on the stops. This car is on semi-slicks. Some drivers were also saying the tire pressures were a little bit high for the car. I guess we'll have to drive around it. Or fixed setup. They are not able to adjust tire pressures because you can gain a pretty big advantage out of tire pressures. But it should be interesting.
Absolutely. Looks like, I mean, it's a fun car and a really fun track. So hopefully the drivers have a good time. I think more than anything else, like this is a real driver's car. They're very lightweight, good power, really good balance. And Watkins is a very, very fast track. So yeah, should be a good time.
Yeah, 100%. A particular action spot to watch too is going to be the S's coming out of turn two. Going up the hill, the iconic S's for Watkins Glen. Just because as these tires start to wear, when the tires are grippy, and I mean up to temp, obviously at the beginning of the stint, the S's from my memory are flat out. Don't know how that's going to be affected as the tires go off, but it'll certainly be a hotbed of activity as the tires start wearing, just
Absolutely.
because you can gain so much. You can gain or lose so much time on your run into the bus stop just through that corner, and also a side-by-side activity through there is going to be quite interesting. Just because you can go side-by-side through the S's, but it requires a bit of a give and take from both sides. So it'll definitely be interesting. Apart from that, bus stop's always a fun corner because it's the bus stop. It's a heavy braking zone, so you can make some opportune or inopportune moves like dive bombs into the bus stop. But you got to figure out how you're going to get out of the bus stop and not be able to be countered into the carousel corner following it. A pretty good track. I mean, Watkins Glen's a very fast track. That's why I chose this car. It's got some power, but not an insane amount of power. I mean, it's a Lotus. It's especially its lightness, not power. But it should be a lot of fun. The drivers seem to nobody that's here seem to be having any complaints about the car. And I mean, as usual, Val's kind of just showing his stuff. A 2:02.2, one of the fastest times we've seen in practice, also in qualifying. Sits on the pole.
Absolutely. Thomas pretty close by as well, 2:02.8. Full second away from Leone right now, who's fastest lap time is a 2:03.838. Doug Newman, I guess, who is also fast in the practice rounds. He has yet to set a good time. I saw him going to the pits. I'm sure he's going to go out now on his out lap and then a flyer and see if he can get into the 2:02s as well and try to get as close to Val as he can.
Yeah, because having a look at his current lap, he set a personal best in some of the micro sectors. Has not set a personal best in some of the other ones. No purples though. Thomas is gray in pretty much most of the micro sectors, except he's got a purple in one. Don't think it's really going to add up though when all the other ones aren't even personal bests. Having a look across our timing screen at the bottom. Valve 2022 once again still a very fast time in practice. 202 is pretty fast. Only a couple drivers have been hitting 202s in practice from what we've seen. 203s are still a respectable time. And down to the 204, Joseph Yanks at 204.0. Looking to improve
Gaglioni's
on that.
able to improve, but not much. I think he actually got quite out of sorts there through the last sector. Saw him have a big drift through the second to last corner, and I'm sure that cost him a good bit of time.
Oh, somebody has crashed coming out of the toe of the boot. I think it was Giuliano. It's unfortunate. They still got 11 minutes 50 seconds, so they'll be able to get back out. Get some times in. $18 cars here for today's race. Pretty decent field.
Absolutely. Thomas able to improve a little bit. 202.776.
7.
Yeah. It's getting it down.
Makes his second a little bit more confident.
I imagine Doug is on his flyer now, so we'll stick with him now as he goes through the first corner here, using all the escape route there. Now, I don't know in Assetto, is that an off track? Yeah, I guess it is, because he just bailed completely on that lap. And I'm sure he's going to reset to the pits and try to get as fresh tires as possible. So yeah, you see him coming out now. He's going to have to do another out lap. So yeah, interesting. I guess the tires... I guess the tires are,
the bus stop.
Yeah, I guess the tires are really falling off after your first lap. So basically, it seems like all these drivers, they're taking their, you come out of the pits with cold tires, you do your out lap, and then a flyer, and then that's it. They're resetting the pits and getting fresh tires and starting over again, which is pretty interesting. I guess, you know, the fall off must be pretty significant for them to have to drop into the pits after your first flying lap in order to get new tires, right? Just to try to maximize your chance at getting a good qualifying time.
Yeah, 100%. The semi-slicks, if my memory is correct, the semi-slicks give you sort of you get a couple lap window when they're first fresh off the press. Where they're really the most grippy is to kind of get like a couple laps of magic, and then they're still grippy, but they just don't have the extra little bit of grip that you need for qualifying.
Nope.
And then, oh, there he goes.
Yeah, Val reset there. I guess he overshot the first corner. Same thing that Doug did actually. Doug is on the back part of the straight here, just warming his tires up. Coming down through, I guess that would be the heel of the boot. Yeah, the heel.
And then there's just this corner that I don't know the name of, but it's
kind of like the front of the ankle.
That's what would be like the back of the ankle.
You're right. Yeah,
know what that corner is
no,
called.
it is the back of the ankle.
I think it's called. I think it's just called boot exit.
Yeah, it should be called ankle.
This corner called. That's true. What do they call? Yeah, what do they call that part of the boot? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Doug is going to be out on his flyer. We'll see, sitting with him now and see what he can put together here. Cycle through some of the cameras. Go to the broadcast one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Out of the first corner.
Oh.
Bit wide. Don't know if he'll be okay with that. Looks like he might get away with it.
Yeah, it looks like he did. Running through the S's now.
The S's.
I guess it's kind of weird, the track boundaries here, the sensitivity and where it triggers the cut penalty.
Of course, because officially they're quite officially Watkins Glen's track limits are quite clearly defined, but I don't think it's a surprise that race car drivers typically take liberties to Watkins Glen, especially because it's placed on the NASCAR Cup Series calendar, where they just don't use track limits penalties. All the runoffs are paved, so you can basically motor it through the gray and
Absolutely.
still be okay with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of trickled over into other series that
Yeah,
race there.
like IMSA really the only part where they really care about the track limits is turn one.
Pretty much turn one, and
Turn one, and that's
it's a
the
safety
only
thing
spot.
too.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's a safety because we've seen even last year in actual IMSA competition where drivers will hit the curb and then just hook it left or hook it right into the wall. But
exactly.
that seems to really be the only
Yeah,
place where
like
track
this
limits
corner
are like
here now,
actually monitored.
coming through the heel. They exit of that corner. Actually, they ignore track limits there. So if you do
Yeah, they
run
basically
wide,
don't care.
you can run wide there.
I don't know how
I mean,
much there
honestly,
is actually to gain.
yeah, there's not really a huge advantage there, and I think that's partially why they kind of ignore it. Like if you do need to go off, whereas turn one, by if you do run wide, you can actually gain a pretty sizable advantage through the S's. So it's really all about managing risk as you're going through turn one and trying to maximize your cornering speed through there, and using all of the track as you can, without kind of pushing it too far over the edge and then getting that track limit penalty. So it's trying to keep it from going four wheels off and over the curb, and just kind of sticking with it. Doug putting down a 2:03.3. So not into the 2:02s yet, but definitely a very strong time, and it's going to
What's
put him
in
up into
third
third
though?
place. Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Pretty comfortable. Jackson's looking to get out. Be our 19th car. Jackson in the British Racing Green. Big Siege. A good color to have on this car.
Absolutely.
Actually, I don't think that car. No, actually, I apologize. That car is actually not exactly British Racing Green. That is I feel like that is slightly different to British Racing Green.
Let's take
It
a
could be
look.
though. I might be wrong. That doesn't appear to be exactly British Racing Green.
I think that's actually
That's like almost British Racing
I
Green.
think actually that might be Lotus Racing Green. It's like it's a lighter shade. British Racing Green is like a little bit darker.
British Racing Green is darker. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you
it might
have
just be
Lotus Racing Green, which is more like green, and then you have Aston Racing Green, which is almost like a teal. Like it's a very like kind of like almost like greenish blue.
One.
Yeah, yeah.
Newest one?
Yes. Well, the ones that were on there, was it the DBR9 GT3? It's that very like almost like bluish green that Aston runs.
You lost me.
The Aston green, but anyways, it's different green. Jackson, I guess that's gonna be his flyer now. We'll check in with Doug. Doug bailing, I guess, on that lap. Wonder if he hit a wall or something. Oh, Jackson going four wheels off. That's got to be a cut. If that's not a cut, I'll be amazed. No, I guess not. Let's see, 4 minutes, 40 seconds of qualifying left. Ish. Drivers still kind of setting their lap times. Yeah, still, I mean, Val and Thomas, really the only ones in the 202s, at least that we've seen so far. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of drivers kind of trying to put in their last flyers, so we'll see over the next couple of minutes what they can do.
Maybe looking to improve, taking some liberties through the bus stop. Somebody just stopped on the exit. Somebody just stopped on the exit of the bus stop.
As one might do, for some unknown reason.
I mean, could be like that. Under 4 minutes remaining in qualifying. Val still sits on the pole. Brady C has stopped at the exit of the bus stop, just enjoying the scenery.
Ooh, Jackson pushing way wide through the heel there. Ooh, Val with a 202 flat. My goodness. So really able to improve quite a bit. 0.2 of a second you got out of that. Let's sit back in with Doug. Let's see what he's doing here. Really trying to scrub those tires in, as we see.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got some heat in those tires. He's basically only going to get one shot at a flyer here. We got 3 minutes 7 seconds remaining in qualifying. This will be his lap.
Yep, really going to try to focus on getting a good exit out of the final corner. Gets a really good run out of there, great line through there, so he'll have a strong start of his first sector as he crosses the line now. Through to turn one, try to use all that inside curb, but only that first section and not really the second part there where it's kind of stepped up and really upsets the car. Gets through there nice and cleanly. Through the S's, you're really trying to minimize, I guess, your crossover kind of around the track. Coming down through here on the straight. A lot of drivers take the bus stop in a different way. I actually tend to take a tighter line on the inside so I can kind of just straight line it and not have to turn in so much through this section. Wow, dug in really close to the wall there, and looks like this thing handles the curb really well. So it's nice through the bus stop, no drama. Into the carousel section here on throttle. Now into the boot section. To the front part of the ankle, whatever the hell this is called, whatever you'd call that. Having to be very tentative on the throttle. Managing the car's understeer and oversteer. These Lotuses tend to actually really push if you carry too much speed on corner entry. So you have to manage that understeer oversteer balance with the throttle and even touches of brake if needed.
Of course, and I mean Doug is just kind of pretty comfortably on a good lap. He's so far he's 6/10 up, 7/10 up, unless my timing's aligned to me, which is entirely possible. And yeah, these especially it's just because of the nature of the platform with how Lotus does the mid-engine cars. You need to use the weight transfer to rotate it, and the instant you start scrubbing the front tires, you just lose all of that benefit.
Absolutely, turning it in through the second to last corner. A little bit of push, but managing it okay in the last corner. Really got to focus on getting a good exit here. Take the right line, on the power as early as you possibly can, run right to the wall, and we'll see where this sits now.
On the board, looking good. A 2:02.6 is going to put him
there you
second.
go. He's going to push himself ahead of Thomas Langeal, and that's a solid lap from Doug. Really the lap that he needed to kind of pip himself on the front row there. So good work by Doug there, especially you know, so late in qualifying. You know, being pretty uncertain. Although Thomas, I think, is on his flyer now, so we'll see where he ends up.
Thomas is on a flying lap as of right now. With the Delta, he is over a second off the pace. So I don't think he's going to find 1.2 seconds worth of pace in the final couple corners, but
for sure. And I think Assetto Corsa won't let him finish his lap anyways, if I'm not mistaken.
I do not think he will. Jackson is burning it down on the bus stop. So we have 5 seconds left in qualifying. Thomas not going to get to complete his lap.
Yeah, and there's the fade.
And crunch.
Ouch.
There we go.
Owie, ouchie.
Really hate it for my guys.
All right, and some bouncing and some stuff and things.
Jumping and a hopping. On the starting grid.
All right.
Less than 3 minutes till the race starts.
Ooh, we got the heli. Yo, we got the heli. Ooh, that's a nice shot.
Oh, we do have a heli camera.
Ooh, that's. Ooh.
Tell you what. Let's use our. Oh, hang on. I gotta get the helicopter cam. I gotta get the helicopter. Oh, I think I got the helicopter cam. Let's go. On the pole, unsurprisingly, we got Val Pietro, Doug Newman in second with a last minute qualifying effort. Thomas Langeal's in third. Joseph Yang is in fourth. Gags is in fifth. Brady's in sixth. Cozier in seventh. Lee Larson in eighth. Phil is in 9. Paul Todd is in 10th. Daniel Sitabanis is in 11th. Giuliano Trejo is in 12th. Matt Alexander 13th. Alex Milo 14th. Laszlo qualifying down in 15th. Randy's in 16th. Gerald Nemhard, he's going to win this race. I've said it all the other times, but he's going to win this one.
It's going to happen.
Finishing 17th. Anthony H is in 18th. And Jackson Oliveras is 19th. Did not set a time, Jits. We're very far down the order for Jackson. I have 2 picks, though. Gerald's going to win the race, but also I think Phil's going to win the race. Phil's a dark horse.
100%.
He's going to win this race.
It's going to happen. We're gonna manifest
48 seconds
this.
remaining.
Try to get the
helicam has stopped. The helicopter's now just hovering above turn 1.
He's just chilling. Now I'm thinking the TV2 is kind of the rear view. If I jump to the heli, maybe the heli is gonna be the best shot here of the start.
I'm sitting on the broadcast cams perfectly.
Broadcast cam is just like just vibing.
It's just a broadcast cam.
What do we got like back here? Oh, it's very like cropped in. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just moving stuff around now. This Stuff is happening. All right. We're gonna do the heli. This is what happens when you're commentating and race directing people. You get free choice. I am my
That's
own
true.
director. 1 minute to go till race start. Is this a recent scan of the track? Do we know where it's from? I guess in Assetto. Is it a conversion? Is it a fresh
It's what's
build?
I don't know, it's Soto Corsa though.
Yeah.
I wish I knew.
It's got the I Heart New York 355, so I assume the ads are from a NASCAR race, at least on
This
the
is
Grand
I
Marshal
think this
stand.
might have been the era where it have been the goal bowling at the Glen 355. Oh no, yeah, they did briefly have the I Love New York 55 355. And they dropped that because it was just kind of lame. I suspect the reason they had the I Love New York is because they couldn't get a sponsor.
Yeah, it do be
Don't know
like
for sure
that
though.
sometimes.
10 seconds left. The lights are on screen. We're gonna go racing in a second.
Yeah, allegedly.
All 5 lights.
And here we go. Lights are out. Cars are off. It looks like Joseph Yang got in a bit of a rough start.
Just Yang, terrible start. Gags goes to the inside. Val leads through turn one. Thomas looking to attack Doug Newman going into one. Somebody goes way up the
Oh
inside. I don't
man.
know who that was. I think it might have been Brady.
Yeah.
Michael Cozier looking to rejoin some side-to-side contact.
Yeah.
Come on.
Drivers shuffling up, getting really friendly with each other through the start of the S's here. Val with a good lead here. Let's kind of look back at the mid pack here. Let's get a nice little shot of the leaders up as well. Yeah, they're right bunched up with each other in the back there. I think it's Gerald Nerhard up to 14th already. Leaders going in through the bus stop, relatively unscathed. Now we're looking at the back markers. Yeah, a little bit of, it's close quarters, but they're managing all right.
Field well behaved through the bus stop. A
Absolutely.
rarity here at Watkins Glen. Gags still trying to hunt down Doug Newman, gap to within half a second. The top four have all played nice. Pretty much the entire field has played nicely. Only a little bit of side-to-side contact. Turn one, cars trying to rejoin, and cars being helped in turn one.
Gerald and Laszlo side by side, coming into the toe here. Gerald's going to brake a little bit harder. Laszlo's going to try to take the outside, but he's going to have to leave. They're going to have to leave each other room, and Gerald is going to get a good exit. So we'll see if he can kind of hang on, because he'll have the inside line into the heel of that boot. Coming on through now. Ooh. Pensive on the brakes from Alex Milo, but he slips on through into 14th place, past Matt Alexander now as well.
I think
Lee Larson and Daniel side by side as well. Daniel have to run wide onto the grass here. A lot of action.
Take a little bit of sand with him.
Gerald touching the wall there.
No.
Gets tangled, but manages to keep it going. Manages to lose a couple places. Oh, somebody stopped there. I think that's Lee Larson. Slowed down.
Spins at the front. Everybody avoids. Doing a good job of that.
Absolutely.
Larson, maybe watch your mirrors a little bit better. Trouble Anthony H managed to save it. Lee Larson a little bit discombobulated rejoining the track after getting helped lap one. You got to try and regain your
Phillips going to try to do a dive on Paul and ends up going way wide off track. Paul's going to have a little bit of contact.
Whoa. Phil going a bit deep into the corner. Phil's got to get back on the... Paul going a bit deep into the corner. Phil got to get back on the track somehow.
Yeah.
Don't blame him. Joseph Yang. Oh, no. Joseph Yang. Cozier. I think they get together in the S's. Both drivers keep it going straight.
Yeah, gotta give each other the space, man.
Gotta give the space. Watkins Glen's S's.
As a wise Austrian actor. Whoa, who goes off there? I think it's Paul Todd. Going off.
Todd spins it at the bus stop. Gonna wait.
It's a sketchy rejoin.
Ooh, that wasn't great. Nope. Anthony H avoiding.
It was not. That was not great at all. But
that was very stressful.
They managed to get on without any contact. I guess our bus stop claims our first casualty at lap 2.
Thomas getting a bit sideways in the toe of the boot, loses second place.
Yeah, Doug Newman's gonna take that place now.
He kind of got to the corner, the back end stepped out.
Yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, these drivers going side by side with each other. As a wise Austrian actor in a '80s sci-fi movie once said, "Give these people air." You have to give them air in space.
I wasn't expecting that reference, but interesting.
Yeah. you know,
You know,
total recall. It's a
right?
thing.
I mean, yeah.
Matt Alexander up to 11th place, doing pretty good here. Gerald even able to claw his way back to 13th. Alex Milo squeezed in between them, sandwiched, let's say, in 12th. Everyone's fairly close together, but I mean, other than the few little, I guess, oddities we've had, everyone's been pretty well behaved, and the pack's still pretty close together, so not bad at all. Oh, Paul Todd getting out of sorts the second to last corner. He goes around. Uh,
Whoa.
I think he got
Just
into the grass there a little bit, managed to get it going again. Let's look at Gerald and on Alex, the two green cars here. Alex going to have a look on the inside, but decides to be pensive and just a little bit patient. Let's ride along
oh,
with Gerald.
contact in turn one. I think it was
Oh, it looks Randy.
Giuliano and Randy getting together. Don't know what happened there. Turn one seems to be real tricky. And Doug Newman and Thomas are battling for a second. Thomas has managed to claw back up. These guys are taking a very aggressive entry into the bus stop. I don't know if they're getting called on penalties. Pretty much apexing at the wall. But if they're not getting called on it, it's fair game.
Even using the grass. Ooh, Gerald getting a little bit out of sorts to the bus stop here as we ride along with him. I guess trying to get closer up to Alex Milo and Matt Alexander up ahead. But getting a little out of sorts on the exit of the bus stop there, but manages to hold it well and keeps on going. So we'll see if he can make any impact on those cars ahead of him. Right along with Thomas, half a second clear or sorry, 2.7 seconds clear of Michael Caglione, and a half second away from Doug Newman, up ahead of him in second. So I'm sure he's going to be trying to make a charge for that second place position as this race starts to unfold over the next couple laps. Let's look at Alex Milo and Matt Alexander, very close together. Our closest battle on track right now. Alex is going to have a look on the inside, and Matt's going to leave him the room as they go through the heel here. Yeah, no, Alex not able to get a meaningful advantage for that corner. He'll try the over-under. Matt Alexander is being really generous, leaving the room. Oh man, they're battling close. It's pretty good, but you know, they're giving each other the space and having a good clean battle here. So this is good stuff.
Thomas now half a second back on Doug. Coming through turn one using those pretty steep inside curbs actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of stepped, right? You get that
yeah,
initial kind of curbing where it's you know, obviously raised a little bit, but not too bad. But then there's a second, I guess, the inner curb is stepped up pretty steep. So, you know, if you do clip that, it can really upset the balance of the car.
And it usually will.
Yeah, these things don't really draft all that well, at least from what I can tell. Let's look at Joseph Yang and Michael Corsier. They were kind of being rowdy with each other over the last couple laps. Joseph Yang is going to have the inside to the bus stop. Michael Corsier is going to yield, but Joseph's taking the bus stop a little bit deep. And I guess Phil now close behind to Michael Corsier as well, going to try to take advantage to get that 8th place position. Taking advantage of them, him battling with Joseph Yang.
Oh, going way deep into the corner.
Does he make it stick? Yes, he does.
He makes it stick with a bit of a rough up to Cozier's car. Not the nicest, a very public lobby dive bomb.
Absolutely.
Cozier's going to return the favor.
But I mean, seems to do it a lot cleaner.
It works. I mean,
yeah. Oh, Cozier's going to have trouble getting traction out of the corner. It's going to give Phil a little bit of a run, but he's going to maintain that that distance ahead, and he'll have the inside line through the heel now. So he's going to kind of tuck it in on the brakes. Phil's going to get a really good exit.
Phil trying for an over-under. Ends up just going on an over.
Yeah, Phil's
going to go way deep into it.
Dive inside.
More contact. Laszlo's going
to have to yield, I guess, by force.
Yeah.
And yeah, Joseph Yang, or actually Laszlo, sorry, rather, gets to take advantage of that and gains a free place from Corsier, having contact with Phil Olivier there.
That's another good example of how two cars battling can advantage a third car that trails behind. It's sometimes your best option if the guy in front of you is battling somebody else is to simply just wait.
Yep, absolutely.
And then either something will happen or they'll slow down enough where you'll be able to catch them, and then either you can make an opportunity with the pass. or the pass once they've actually slowed down enough, or they'll just take each other out, and then you've gained 2 places.
Absolutely, it's all about
Oh, Matt Alexander and I think Gerald have gotten together in turn one.
yeah, Gerald gets it going again. As does Matt Alexander. I mean, I guess they did lose a couple positions from that, which is unfortunate, but nevertheless, you kind of brush it off and keep going. Next closest battle on track right now, I guess we have is Joseph Yang on Daniel Setibanez. Joseph's gonna stick it on the outside as Daniel gets has a rough go through the bus stop. Joseph's gonna move up into 6th place now. I know he's been chipping away at that for the last couple of laps, so he'll be happy to get that 6th place position.
Around the outside of the bus stop, a very bold move, but definitely a move that can be made. Up in a 6th place. Joseph Yang's also got some damage on the front end of that Lotus. Don't know what's up with that.
Must have been, I guess, with his contact earlier with Michael Kloizier.
I would check out.
First couple laps, Michael Kloizier's car has a little bit of damage on it as well. So.
And the note too, Giuliano Trejo, sitting in 19th. He's 0.3 laps behind the next car in front of him. That's not on pace, actually. Giuliano made a pit stop. Don't know if he's maybe trying to maybe do that fill the car strategy, but inverted. Start with a little bit of fuel, fill it up, and then make another stop to fill it up and run it to the end. Or if perhaps there's an issue with qualifying fuel, some damage, maybe he had to tow.
Yeah, not really sure. But I guess it would be in. We would be in the pit window for I guess the splash already, right? If you did want to just do 2 full fills, rather than trying to splash at the end.
I'd have to look at the lap times and the amount of fuel used per lap, but we could be. I'm not quite sure how close. The splash was pretty close. So they basically would have to splash around 10 liters, or a little bit more than 10 liters. Let's say 15 liters. And the one thing that we did discover with this car is that tires do take longer than fuel. So you can kind of just put as much fuel. Or sorry, fuel takes longer than tires. It's one of those. I don't remember. It's, something. That was a strategy. I don't know. I didn't make the strategy. Thomas made the strategy because he's cool. Randy trying to move on Anthony H out of turn 1.
Yeah, Randy's gonna kind of stick it on the inside through the S's here. Anthony's gonna have the advantage on this inside corner, but then Randy's gonna get the inside again because that's how S's work. Randy seems to have the speed. He's gonna go side by side with Anthony Ho now into the bus stop here.
Randy trying to move, backs off, better of it. Bus stop isn't really a too wide corner.
Yes, no, absolutely not.
I mean, it can be, but you basically have to willingly agree that you're both gonna go too wide. And
I have learned that the hard way, many times. It's not a corner where you go too wide.
We have a strategy update. So the average is 2 liters a lap for fuel. Tires are faster than fuel.
Interesting.
So roughly 98 liters for the full race. On a 40-liter tank, 2 full stops, 40, and then 8.
Yeah, so I think.
So if you wanted to be safe, Kozier loses it out of the bus, or out of the boot.
Oh man! Oh,
just got snap oversteer.
Oh man! Lee Larson just slipping by with that rejoin. Ooh, my God, that was
definitely close. Jackson up to 12th after starting last. Jackson's kind of on the hard charge.
Yeah, Jackson's been. I mean, his pace has been decent. Definitely better than the guys that are in front of him. After starting at the back, he seems to be kind of getting the hang of things, and it's just been running a pretty clean race so far. So it's gonna help him on his charge towards the front here. He is gonna have to contend with Kozier behind, who does have a good overall pace. Although his last lap, obviously, with that spin, didn't do him any favors.
Last lap will not help.
We'll see. Randy going to try on Anthony Ho again.
I might say the S's bold strategy.
Yeah, Koizier's going to try to force 2 wide at the bus stop. Takes the inside line, so Jackson is going to have to let him through. And yeah, Koizier now up at 12th place. Randy and Anthony now side by side as well, going through the bus stop. I think Randy's going to make it stick because he's going to have the outside line. Anthony Ho kind of initially very close to Randy through there, but does back up, I guess, and kind of check up uh, to let Randy kind of have the whole corner. So Randy now is going to be up in the 17th place. Another close battle here. Gerald and Matt Alexander, these two have been battling fairly closely over the last little bit. Gerald closing up big in the braking zone there through the toe, and is going to get a really good exit. That puts him much closer to Matt Alexander up ahead. So we will see if he can get a move done in the next little while. Come through
And
the
Matt,
heel.
one of Matt's weaker points seems to be that, particularly on the entrance to the boot, he seems to be struggling with that corner a lot. So that's allowing Gerald to close up a lot more. He just seems to be struggling to get the car to rotate through that corner, even through some of the sweepers through the boot. He might be fighting with some understeer in that car. I don't know if he can tune that out with driving or if he's heated the tires up to the point of no return. Seems to be fine through that corner. Gerald Nemhart looking to capitalize on that, though. Dropping back a bit. I don't think he may be dropping back. Not sure if it's a pace issue, but he might just be dropping back to see if he can kind of mount a charge, kind of gain some momentum. Watkins Glen's a lot of a momentum track. If you can kind of build momentum out of turn one, up the hill through to the bus stop, you can get a move done. Otherwise, if you lose the momentum, especially in a car like the Lotus Exige, where it's more of a handling car than a power car, it really does matter.
Absolutely, Gerald actually falling off on pace even more through turn one. Seemed to have a bit of a rough go at it. Took a little bit too much speed on entry and ended up running really wide and having to really kind of course correct and get the car back on track, causing him some pace through the S's. It's the real tough thing about turn one here. If you make a minor error or need to make a little adjustment to your line, you don't get it just quite right. Your entire first sector is basically ruined. So,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. Very similar to Motorsport once again. Going through turn one, downhill turn two there. If you push a little wide, if you carry too much speed on entry, you brake a little bit too aggressively. If your line isn't, tip top, it's going to cost you some time. So, these fast flowing tracks really require consistency lap over lap to maintain a solid pace, and that's consistency meaning the same line, the same braking points, where you're applying the power, just trying to carry as much speed as possible through these corners. Because it is such a fast and flowing track, you're really trying to maximize your minimum speeds through corners and your exits.
Bill going a little bit off track there in the second last corner, using all the facilities at Watkins Glen. Rejoins just before the grass, but gonna be able to keep it going straight. Don't know if I think he might have made a mistake and gone wide there, and I mean, because it's all paved, you kind of in for a penny, in for a pound, and then just keep your foot in it. It's not gonna hurt you.
For sure, front is
I wouldn't make it a habit, but
front pack is really settled down. I mean, Val's just. I mean, he's been doing 202s. Oh, Val getting really sideways through the the entry into the boot here, the ankle, if you will, or I guess the front of the ankle, whatever the hell you would call that. Got any
I think it's called boot
kinesiologists in the chat?
Any orthopedics,
Yeah, any orthopedic specialists?
orthopedic specialists, surgeons of any form.
Please tell us what that is. Sound off in the comments.
Please.
We would like to know what that body part is.
I'm trying to point out, we seem to the gap between Matt Alexander and Gerald Nemhart seems to be fluctuating very rapidly. They both seem to be struggling with the car in different ways. Matt Alexander seems to be struggling in getting the car to turn in. Gerald Nemhart seems to be struggling with getting the back end to stay down. An interesting battle, because that means throughout different corners at different points in the track, the gap really accordions.
Absolutely, it's like the great equalizer, right, with advantages and disadvantages. I mean, and with that, you can see, I guess the advantage Val having right now, he's a full corner ahead of second and third place, with a 7-second gap ish to the car behind. Val just, in this lap, he did have a big sideways moment. That's a 2:03.5, so still really strong in terms of pace. Doug Newman with a 2:03.8 his last lap. Doug and Thomas keeping each other company. Thomas has just been kind of on Doug this entire time, just maintaining that second gap.
Almost
Ooh,
getting way
getting
sideways through turn
nice
one.
and sideways through turn one, and there goes some of that gap that he's been working hard to maintain. But I'm sure he'll try to maintain the gap or bring that down. I mean, he does have the pace. It's just a matter of managing tires as we get through this, um, into the thick of the race now. That the field is kind of spread out a little bit, but yeah, these guys are sitting in the 203s, just keeping each other company. You don't want to rest on your laurels, I guess. When you got your competition, still pretty close behind with an hour and 20 minutes to go. But Val is just, he's gone. At least as of right now. I mean, he hasn't really been touched pace-wise at all. So, um, you know, he's doing the Lord's work. He's being pretty consistent and seems to be very strong pace-wise. Just almost a second clear of everybody else as this race is unfolding, and that's really handing him a huge early race advantage.
Yeah, Lee Larson getting chased down by Michael Cozier coming out of the bus stop. Scap's come down. Don't know if Michael's catching him.
Michael
Or if
is
Lee made a mistake.
Yeah, he did get close for a second there. I think he did have to lift coming through the carousel there down into the boot section here, just to get the car balanced again. He ended up scrubbing a little bit of speed, but still within half a second, about 4/10. We will see if he can make an impression on Lee now through the latter half of this lap. Lee having to run really wide through the toe, and Michael's going to be able to. Hey, there you go, 2/10. 3/10 roughly, so he closes that gap right back up to where it was before, and seems to be closing a little further. Takes a look on the inside of the ankle there, but is going to let up a little bit. See what he can make of this corner here. Lee will give him the inside. Michael's going to use all the track there, get within a tenth now. He's going to have a look, try to make it stick on the second to last corner. Forcing Lee to the outside. Got to give each other the space. Lee's going to have the inside line, though, for this last corner. Or no. Lee's going to lift. Let Michael by. Michael's going to run wide. Going to hand Lee a huge speed advantage in the last corner. They're going to go side by side down the straight here.
Side by side down the front straight. They're going to have a lot of runoff in case things go wrong. Lee getting out of it way early. Maybe realizing that the overall pace detriment to battling. Oh, somebody loses. I think Alex Milo loses it in front of him. Just got a bit sideways. Getting up to speed, going to lose the place. Jackson now back up to 12th. Alex Milo losing 3 places on that spin. A costly mistake early into this race.
Absolutely. Really tough spot there coming out of turn 1. Very easy to kind of get it wrong, and the merge there to get back onto the track is so
Lee
dangerous.
Larson hits the wall entering the bus stop, does a 360 and continues. not gonna lose a place yet, but effectively ruins his chances of catching Cozier for the minute. Gonna have to maybe look at defending Jackson. As we see a pack of Lee Larson, Jackson Oliveira, and Alex Milo starting to catch each other. Might have a 3-way battle.
We got Lee now. Because of that whole mistake, he's now right into the hands of Oliveira and Alex Milo here. Alex Milo was very close behind to Jackson. Alex Milo's pace has been pretty good. He's been doing 205s. Strong enough to bring him into the well into the mid pack here. Just trying to keep those errors down to a minimum as we go through this race. Still a lot of race to go, so it's just a matter of kind of dusting off the your shoulders and hunkering down and just trying to run as clean of a race as you can as we kind of run through these long races. It's very easy to kind of get in over your head and really just push lap over lap, but you end up making mistakes that way, and those mistakes are pretty costly when it comes to the overall race, just because endurance racing, it's not all about your out and out pace lap over lap. It's really how clean and consistent can you be. You're trying to minimize errors and mistakes because you do have a long race, and any mistake, if you're pushing for the absolute 10/10 lap, if you make a mistake, you're going to lose 15-20 seconds, and that's maybe 20 laps of maybe taking it easy and running a second or so behind. So it's a lot of time loss trying to push to the absolute edge. So it's all about just kind of managing your expectations and trying to be patient and just try to focus on racing clean. Even if you are a little bit slower, you got to focus on getting the car home because you'll always end up ahead of the guy who's been pushing and ends up trying to be the hero and puts it into the wall. So
Joseph Yang posting on the back of Brady with 7 seconds.
yeah, Gerald and
Oh, the
Matt
battle's come back.
Alexander
I was going to say, there we are.
also close together here.
Went through the entry of the boot.
Yeah, Matt
Matt Alexander seeming
getting
to
poor
getting a
exit.
hang of that corner, but it's not gonna. It's getting a hang of the corner, but it's not actually helping him because Gerald's still getting a better run out of the corner.
Yeah, Gerald's going to kind of try to run a little wide here. See if he can stick it and get a good run on the outside. Sometimes it does work through the toe. Because if you do have to take an inside line through there, it can really compromise your exit, having to do that little bit of an extra turn versus sticking it up high. But Matt Alexander's still comfortably ahead, 6/10 here as we go through this last half of the lap.
Paul Todd now starting to catch the back of this too. We're getting kind of two simultaneous three-car battle trains. Alex Milo getting sideways out of the second last corner. Not what he wants to see.
Yeah, Gerald getting a little wide in the second last corner. He's going to try to focus on getting a good exit here in the last corner. Yeah, no, they're kind of settling in here. Gets a bit of a run, but he's going to have to really focus on getting a good exit here out of turn one. That will help him huge. Seems, I don't know if the rear end got a little unstable there, but it seems to have cost him a little bit of time to Matt up ahead. See Joseph Yang here on Brady. These guys are much closer together as they exit the bus stop and come down into the boot now. Only 3-4 tenths behind.
Joseph Yang closed up on Brady real hard through the bus stop. The gap kind of got brought down 0.6 of a second. He was when he was as close as through the carousel, he was about 2 car lengths behind him. Definitely seems to be pretty consistent with each other on the pace. Just Joseph
For
Yang
sure,
might be,
Joseph getting a really good exit there. Taking a tidier line through the toe, using more of the curb, so it gives him the extra grip on the inside there. He's going to go side by side. He'll have the inside. Brady's not going to let up, try to run outside there, use a little bit of the track to his advantage to keep him alongside. So they're going to have to... Ooh, good battling. Joseph just squeezing by.
to the front. Thomas is now
Brady having a
caught
look.
Doug Newman.
Having a look. Getting
Having a
close.
look, maybe? Question mark? Maybe gonna run wide in the last corner. That's not gonna help him.
No, and it looks like Joseph Yang might get away clean. Looks like a Paul Todd on Gerald, actually. That's another one flashing out at me. Let's see. Just going to see Brady. Brady having another look on the inside. Ooh, has to back out of it there. And that's going to cement that position for Joseph, I think, with Brady's exit being so compromised through there.
Turn one seeming to be a hotbed of activity.
Absolutely.
Thomas was right on the back bumper of Doug Newman within half a second for a while, but looks like Thomas has stretched the gap out a little bit. Maybe just had a bad bus stop.
Absolutely. Looking at Paul Todd here, close with Gerald once again. They got very close at one point, with Gerald still kind of chipping away at Matt Alexander up ahead. And all three cars are actually not too far off Alex Milo in 13th place here. So cars are kind of going to be a really interesting four-way battle developing here, I think. Let's go back and look at Thomas, like you mentioned there with Doug. Really closing that gap back up after making a few errors early in the race. So he's been able to close, 6/10 off of Doug Newman this the last lap. So that's going to help him huge in this battle for second place.
Gerald Nemhard sending it through the bus stop. Keeps it going normal. Thomas and Doug coming out of the boot. Thomas only a couple car lengths behind him. Just under just under half an hour into this race. Battle's still quite warm.
So Thomas is going to stick it in, try to focus on a good exit. We'll see here now down into turn 1 how this unfolds.
It's a decent run, maybe even a little bit of draft. Coming up the front straight hard on the brakes through turn 1, downhill braking zone.
Tucks it in. Doug's seeming to get the better exit. Just getting on the power a little bit earlier than Thomas was able to. I imagine Thomas was trying not to get too good of a run and end up into the back of Doug, or end up pushing too wide and having to, you know, course correct and lose more time here. So that ends up being a pretty smart move from Thomas. He's maintaining that third of a second gap with the draft here. As we come to the bus stop, closing in on the brakes a little bit. Driver's getting very close to that inside wall there on entry to the bus stop. You would not want to do that in a race car. That thing would just, that curb will just kind of spit you out. Very, very nasty. But these Exige Cups seem to have a lot of compliance in the suspension, and they're able to kind of hammer these curbs a lot harder than you would normally in a proper out-and-out racing prepped machine.
Yeah, I would describe them as racier suspension. Remember, this is still a road car. This car is still road legal. But it's sportier suspension, and so it's a bit more forgiving than a race car. Just thought I'd note Gerald Nemhard went wide exiting the boot. Lost 15th to Paul Todd, so that's how that battle's going. Thomas is still on the back bumper of Doug, though. These guys have been going at it for a while.
Absolutely.
And Val's going to be loving this. Whoa! Thomas helping Doug a little bit.
Yeah, running a little deep there, and he's going to have to push wide there. I mean, he still kind of maintains that gap, but yeah, he's got to just really kind of head down and focus. You got to kind of keep calm and run your race. Just try to force the guy up ahead into a mistake if you can, because you know Doug is not an easy guy to get around. That's for sure. You know, whether or not you have the pace behind him or not. We saw it before with the trying to remember which race it was now. Can't even remember. Good God, it was a front driver. I believe it was the TCRs at Motorsport. Right.
Right.
We saw with Doug Newman and Michael Gaglione, Doug being on a completely different strategy, which was really disadvantageous
yes.
with tires towards the end of the race. He really had nowhere near the pace of the leaders who were on a different strategy with fresh tires, but I mean, he managed to hold off Gaglione for about 20 minutes longer than we expected, I think. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just a really, really strong defensive driver, and we're still seeing that. Oh, Doug getting out of sorts through the bus stop there. I think taking a little bit too much curb, and that's going to head Thomas the inside here as we go through the entry into the boot. Doug's going to get the inside again. They're going to go side by side as we'll be on the tree line here, coming down through. Doug gonna try. Yeah, he does know he has the inside advantage here through this corner now. Thomas getting a really good run, but Doug staying ahead. That inside curb gives you a ton of grip, but your exit it's so important to get a really good exit out of there. Doug, even though he was higher, when you're on that high line, you can get on the power so early that it's a really good defensive move. So really, really great stuff here. Thomas not giving up at all. Neither is Doug here. You know, really, Doug's just been excellent choosing his lines into corners, just trying to make that car as wide as possible. Thomas really trying everything he can to get around, and he's gotten close. But right now, Doug's still ahead.
Thomas trying everything he can. Remember, we're probably about 35 minutes into this race, just a little bit less. So this is still really quite early to be battling. But at the end of the day, you just still kind of have to gain places in order to maintain those places on pit stops. Interesting. We've also got a battle here for 5th, looks like. Brady catching up to Joseph Yang. Battles throughout the top 5.
Absolutely. We're going to see now going through the bus stop how this unfolds. Thomas having a much better go at this than Doug in the previous lap. Doug much more pensive this time around, trying to keep it straight. Thomas is going to check up. And it looks like we got our first pit stops. We have Daniel St. Benez, Michael Corsier, and Lee Larson all ducking into the pits.
Larson also in.
Well,
Paul Todd may have had an issue in the final corner, I
absolutely.
think.
Brady's going to get around Joseph. These two have been battling fairly closely as well. Coming to the bus stop. Oh, contact!
Contact!
Oh, man. Joseph's going to send
Already
Brady
skipping through
right
the inside.
around. But he, gentlemanly, he
Gonna be a
lets him
nice
go
guy.
ahead. I guess, given the fact that, Phil is, I mean, even with a spin, he's still 4 seconds behind. And, closest battles up ahead are a full tenth of a lap. Nice of Joseph to kind of yield and let Brady go on, and then they can continue their battle without really being impeded at all in terms of position, based on where they sit on the track compared to everybody else. So we'll check back in with that battle in a bit and see how that unfolds, as I'm sure they'll be bothering each other again shortly. Thomas and Doug still really close together this lap. They've been losing a good amount of pace, kind of going nose to tail here. Just worrying about each other. They're just concerned. Thomas getting into the pits here now for his first stop. I assume, you know, trying to get around Doug and really not being able to make an impression. Probably just better off to just duck into the pits before you lose any more time. Fill up, tires if you need them, and then you get back out in hopefully a nice little gap between other vehicles, and you can kind of head down and put in some strong times, which make a big difference.
Gaglione also looking to jump in on that strategy. Really just trying to get. Looks like these guys are just trying to get out in clean air, to be honest. Val catching lap traffic now. That would.
Yeah, Brady moving up into
clean
third
air we're
place
talking
now.
about.
Phil moving up into fourth, given that our Thomas and Gaglione and Joseph Yang all jumping into the pits. So handing these top 6 positions now to our, I guess, mid-pack racers earlier in this season. Brady having a really good race today. Really strong performance from him so far in the Lotus. So awesome stuff for him. Yeah, no, really impressed with his driving so far, and he's been doing good. He's been battling with Joseph Yang and those kinds of likes for top 5 positions. So really strong work from him so far. Thomas rejoining the track in 5th place, just behind Philip as we watch. That was Randy there looping it behind. Yeah, it was. He loops it. Oh, contact! I don't know who that was. But somebody gets smashed as Randy tries to rejoin the track. I actually missed that. I don't know who that was. Looked to be a black car. Not sure who that was. I wish I saw the nameplate. It was only a brief
Might have been
moment.
Laszlo. I'm not 100% sure though. Unfortunate. Val still has not stopped. Doug Newman is coming in.
Yeah, Doug now coming into the pits for his first stop. Val just chugging away. He's really kind of been a class of his own so far in the last, I guess, almost 40 minutes that we've been running this race. He's been untouchable.
Might even be trying to see if he can stretch it to get rid of that last little splash that's needed.
Absolutely.
Last lap of 2:04.5.
I mean, he has opened up quite the gap to the cars behind. So, if you can stretch that fuel stint, I mean, realistically, you're saving for essentially what is, well, 2 liters a lap, and then what'd you say, 8 liters on the splash? So, ooh,
yeah,
somebody going around there and hitting the wall just in front of Val. That was one of the green cars. I wonder if it was Giuliano or
it was Gerald Nemhard.
Yeah.
Hit for my guys. Gaglione up into 5th on the pit stops. Laszlo and Phil have been stationary for a while. Laszlo should be out shortly. Paul Todd coming in the pits.
Bit of drama out of turn 1 there. Joseph Yang up to 6th place now. James Banez up to 7th. Phil still in the pits, but making his way out now. Should be rejoining in 8th place.
Hill should comfortably be in 8th. Whole 4 seconds ahead of Michael Kozier. Paul Todd, Laszlo rather, coming out in 11th. Might be battling Lee Larson as they come out of the pits.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Lee's gonna slip on by, um, and then Laszlo will kind of filter in behind. So we'll see how this plays out. Alex Milo jumping Paul Todd, still in the pits for 13th. Doug and Thomas now. Thomas able to jump Doug Newman on that pit stop. So pit
Thomas got a
strategy really working well for Thomas here.
Thomas got a terrible run at the toe of the boot. I was just watching him. He seems to really be struggling with the car after. I don't know if he's not used to the car's balance with a full tank, or just the tires are still getting up to temp. He's very much sliding the car. He hasn't quite dialed it up or brought the car up to temperature for the second stint.
For sure, that's gonna bring Doug right back into him. Especially uh, pit strategy works sometimes. You pass somebody, with a quicker pit in time, and maybe a differing fueling strategy that might save you a second or two. So that's where we saw Doug, Thomas able to jump his position with Doug after battling him so hard on track prior to the pit stops. But yeah, no, cold tires, they're tricky, and Thomas really struggling here. Seems to have settled in now, so we'll see if he can give Doug a hard time, just like Doug was giving him a hard time trying to get past. So this is going to be a battle to watch for sure over the next couple laps.
All thought has gotten past Matt Alexander as we enter an hour remaining in the race. Brady will also be, I believe, our last car that owed us a pit stop.
Matt Alexander
Randy did too.
taking a look, and Paul's going to give him the space, so he's going to remain side by side here, leaving the heel here. Randy seems to disconnect.
Uh-oh. I really hate it.
Val actually tangled up with these drivers here. Ooh, Val getting real sideways on the boot exit. I'm sure he's, trying to let these guys battle who are a lap behind, but, also for those guys, you kind of want to yield to the leader behind who's on a, running a different race with you. Yeah, Val going to the pits then for his pit stop. I assume to not have to worry about dealing with the traffic up ahead. Smart move from him. He says he's got a whole, let's see, 40-ish seconds? I don't know if that's correct.
Maybe accurate.
Yeah, 40 seconds to Thomas. So I don't know how long these pit stops are. So we'll see what the final delta is when Val does come out of the pits. Val sitting in the pit box, and Thomas and Doug now just rounding through the second last corner.
What'll have to be noted too is that Val's still going to have to stop. If he did 40, let's call it 42 minutes on this tank, well, he's still going to have to. He'll probably have to stop with about 6 minutes left.
Val gets going now, so we see the final delta sitting at about 8 seconds between Thomas and Doug here. So yeah, just it's been a significant advantage for Val all night.
And I'll tell you what, the battle won't help with the gap being brought down.
Absolutely not. It's going to be those type of drivers going to be kind of all worried and worked up over each other and really trying to take defensive lines, and it's going to lose them overall pace. And Val just kind of running in clean air there with no one else really to worry about except for slower traffic. He's going to be able to drive away with it.
Pretty dominant lead put on by Val.
Yeah, I wonder if we should go to break, considering we have about 57 minutes left.
Yeah, we can do let's do our mid-race Admiral.
Yeah, so we'll be back, and we will see you guys in a few minutes. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we do that, Thomas going really wide through the boot there, and Doug able to close up quite a bit. So, ooh, that was a close one. Okay, now we're going to break. See y'all in a bit.
Yeah.
We are back, everybody. Not much happened when we were on break. Alexander, Paul Todd spreading out was the only real thing there. I think they got kind of tangled up with one another. Matt able to get a whole 5 seconds clear of Paul Todd here. Otherwise, battle with Doug and Thomas still pretty close. Doug falling back a little bit now to about 9/10. Otherwise, the cars are turning their laps. They're getting it done. Another close battle on track we have. Daniel Santibanez with Brady here. Brady C kind of settling in here fairly close to one another pace-wise. So we'll see how that one unfolds as well.
We're still on going. 53, just under 54 minutes remaining. We still predict another round of pit stops. A ways
Absolutely.
away. Oh, Thomas is. Oh no, hang on. Nope, never mind. Different gray car. We're good. Thomas is exactly the same distance from Doug Newman as he was before, and definitely did just slow down for no reason. That was a different gray car that politely scared me. Race kind of settled in near the middle. Doug Newman taking a lot of grass through the center of the bus stop.
Yeah, bus stop's really not been Doug's friend this race. He's had more than one occasion where it's really kind of unsettled the car for him, and it's cost him a little bit of time. Although that run through there was not too bad at all, closing quite a bit to Thomas. Up ahead now, 4/10 between the two.
Gap down to half a second as they come out of the toe. Anyone looking to hop in Thomas's draft? These guys have been trading positions pretty much the entire race. Another battle we also want to call out. Daniel Santibanez about a second behind Brady for 6th. Gap seems to be stretching out though, so I don't know how much we're going to be focusing on that.
For sure, riding along with Doug here on the windshield cam. Doug seems to be taking tidier lines than Thomas. Thomas trying to make the track, trying to make the car rather as wide as possible. Try to prevent Doug from slipping on by. You know, a bit wider lines, carrying more speed. Trying to balance out Doug. You know, kind of taking peeks and looks. So an interesting approach. Doug able to stick on Thomas's rear end here, but yeah, no, it's going to be trying to take advantage of an error from Thomas or that kind of thing. It's really tricky to pass these things. There is a draft, but it's really doesn't seem to be that powerful. Like when you have cars with more downforce, like proper race cars setups. At the Glen, you can feel the draft from much further behind. I know running like Daytona prototypes, you know, in particular the Riley, I've run quite a bit around here. Even things like radicals and stuff, you can get a good draft from the car in front with, you know, a 1.5 pace gulf. Sorry, 1.5 gap rather. You'll get a significant draft. So, you know, for these cars to be, you know, within a second of one another, I mean, really kind of still managing good pace. You know, it's just indicative of racing street cars where, you know, they are more aerodynamically efficient, so there's less of a hole in the air that gets punched from the car in front, so then you don't get as much of an advantage from the draft being the car behind. And also, I guess it might just be a Assetto Corsa things as well.
Yeah, Assetto Corsa is not the most flawless simulator, but for what it does, it does it. I don't know how to say it. It does it.
Absolutely, I find Assetto's good with like feel. I think like of the car, like in like conveying, you know, vehicle balance. Tire simulation can be a bit funny, depending on the vehicle. Bit simplistic, but it works.
A lot of it comes down to the tire models too.
Yeah.
People don't realize the Assetto Corsa has actually got, I believe, it's either 10 or 11 different tire models, like iterations they've gone through. And the issue is that some cars are still built, like, from my understanding, version 8 is basically the version where they made it good, effectively. Like it's
Yeah,
actually got
yeah. Like I
different.
believe you're on
You can
version
get
11 or 12 right now, but it took a while to get there.
yeah, like it's so I think basically 8 is where you can start getting your diagnostics, like your temperature on the inner part of the tire, the middle, the outer, the core, the skin temperature, stuff like that. It's the actual real in-depth values that go into a tire calculation. From my understanding, before that, they don't really have it, and you can. Fun way you can tell, if I remember correctly, is through some tire temperature monitoring apps you can get for Assetto Corsa. If it's the older tire model, it just straight up won't show a value. It just
Hmm.
won't show you tire temperature at all. You'll have to use the default one. And it's because of how the calculations are done, where the numbers are for the software to find it. But basically, the newer ones seem to be the better ones because they're, you learn from your previous mistakes.
Yeah, Doug, man, much closer now.
I was gonna say.
Here, just under 3/10 of a second. Yeah, no, Assetto's funny like that. I find where it is lacking, uh, I find its aerodynamic modeling, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to drafting. It really uh, doesn't give you as much in terms of draft. The actual physical aero on the vehicle itself, especially when you have like race cars with high downforce and whatever, it's pretty good. But just in particular, when it comes to the slipstream in the draft, for whatever reason, it doesn't really convey that all that well.
Yeah, and that's just one of those issues where at the core of how the game was developed, there's no real patchwork solution you can get around it that I know of. So that's one of the important things because we cannot get fun stuff like low power cars at draft tracks. Well, we can, but it's not to the fullest effect. We saw that last season with Fuji Speedway.
Hmm.
But Newman's still working at Thomas. We are officially a couple of minutes, 2.5 minutes basically clear of the halfway point.
Absolutely. We got time for a Lotus
Oh,
Exige fun fact.
let's get a Lotus Siege fun fact.
So the Exige V6 Cup is basically the track. Well, the Exige basically originally came out as the track-orientated version of the Elise, and that's really what it was through Series 1 and Series 2. Then for Series 3, which is this model that the guys are racing tonight, kind of diverged from the Elise a little bit more. Got extended body a little bit, and then got the Toyota 3.5 liter V6 from the Evora. In lieu of the 1.8 liter 2ZZ motor that the Exige got, the Elise got rather. So kind of diverging those model lines a little bit. The Exige V6 Cup, in particular, gets that 3.5 liter Toyota V6 from the Camry that we all know and love, but with a hair-up supercharger on it. So it produces 350 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 295 pound-feet of torque at also at 7,000 RPM. It's got a 6-speed manual. It's good stuff. Weighs 2,400 pounds, so pretty
Very
light.
light. Yeah, extremely light. I mean, it's been Lotus's motto ever since the beginning is the whole simplify and add lightness bit. And the V6 Cup car really actually, when you think about 2,400 pounds, that is a quite light car. In addition, have those performance figures with like the horsepower and the torque that you mentioned.
Absolutely. I mean, good enough for 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds and a top speed of 170 miles an hour. Double wishbone suspension, front and rear, of course. AP Racing brakes, and the semi-slicks of choice are Pirelli P0 Corsas.
Oh, interesting. I mean, it's a shame it's got P0s on it. I'm personally not a big fan of the Pirelli tires, but I mean, they probably got to deal with them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Just my opinion, though.
I'm more of a Michelin man myself when it comes
I
to
was about to say, yeah.
let's say a
Sport,
street
of
high
course.
performance tire. The Pilot Sport 4S's is what I have on my own car. Do like them a
Also,
lot.
also something to be said for the Continental Sport contacts. I
Yes.
personally am not very much not a Continental guy, but
Continental's winter tires are really good actually. I run them on my winter beater, and they're very, very good.
did not know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Funny enough, I use Michelin winter tires.
yeah. Michelin's did not come in my size, unfortunately
Oh,
anymore, which is poopy, but you know, way she goes. The Viking
also
Contact
got it.
Sevens
What?
are a really good
Yeah. Also,
replacement for the Excise threes that I had prior. Very
what about
similar
the
characteristics.
classic Blizzak?
Blizzaks, great in snow, noisy as hell on the pavement. And since we
Yeah.
drive so much on pavement,
Well,
cold
there's yeah,
pavement in the GTA,
yeah.
it's better to just have a
I
streetable
guess that's
tire
your
that's
difference.
that's good in snow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean obviously when it comes to 200 tread wear, you know, Pilot Sport Cup 2s, it's not even the best option, I guess, if you want the for track day tires that aren't going to break the bank but have really good grip. You're looking at, you know, Bridgestone RE71Rs, the Yokohama AO52s
Indy
are,
500s,
yeah, Indy 500s, which are technically, they're Firestone, but
Firestones.
technically Bridgestones as well. They're sold as the,
Interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, so the Firestone and Bridgestone,
So
same company. So
right,
if
yeah.
in Europe, the Indy 500s are sold as the Bridgestone RE003s. Uh, so it's just a
Interesting.
funny nameplate
Just
change
a
because you can
colloquialism. Yeah,
you
because
can
well,
still,
Firestone's
yeah,
synonymous with the Indianapolis
yeah,
500,
you
right?
can still get. So what happened was it's that kind of funny. So you can get, there's the Firestone Indy 5, sorry, excuse me, the Firestone Firehawk Indy 500, which are those Bridgestone like kind of performance tires that are actually really good, kind
Right.
of, you know, well-priced performance street tires. But then there's also the original Firestone Indy 500 wide oval, which is a completely different summer tire, which sucks by all accounts, big chunks,
Awesome.
and is still sold alongside the Firehawk Indy 500. So it's
Firehawk Indy 500s.
yeah,
Okay, that's always
very
good.
very confusing. You know, classic Firestone. They're just gonna do
Yeah,
that
it's
kind of
not
stuff.
very intuitive. Doesn't
No,
doesn't make me want to buy Indy 500s, Firehawk Indy 500s, but that being said, I also my summer tires are actually just like cheap no-name brand tires because I bought the car in October.
yep,
I wasn't gonna put summers on it for quite literally less than a month.
no, no,
That
not worth
reminds
it.
me, I gotta look into that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm gonna pick up?
you got the A4 Avant.
Hello,
Yeah, so
me.
I'm trying to see.
Ideal automobile.
I guess it depends on your mileage.
I think I'm on 17s.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I think it depends on your mileage. You know what you're doing with the car.
Oh, Alex Milo has spun in the second last corner.
But yeah, a lot of good options out there for tires from the reputable brands, of course. Two things I never cheap out on: brakes and tires. Only things
Yeah, that's
touching the
fair.
road. So
I also would not cheap out on engine parts too. That's
correct.
just me. Brakes and tires, though, yeah, 100%. I would add suspension into that too. I've bought cheap suspension parts, and what happens is the problem happens later.
Yes.
Um, learned that lesson the hard way. Learned that lesson 3 times apparently.
Oof.
Yeah, TSXs aren't good on ball joints.
Yeah.
Come from. Doug Newman's still consistently about a second behind Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just 8/10 to a second. Just really settled in here. Lost quite a bit that last lap. Tom's doing it really pretty strong at 203.2. Doug with a 203.7. So yeah, no, just everything's kind of pretty settled in. We'll see if Doug can make up for that deficit last lap here, and really try to put a
And
strong
Val,
lap in and take the
Val
fight.
seems to be struggling a bit too. His last lap was a 204.9. He might be starting to run into some problems. Thomas's last lap a 203.1.
Yeah, able to close quite a bit of time here now. Gap is down to about I think 7 seconds once the dust all settles, kind of coming around corners here. So you know, not too far behind Val. I think they could probably see Val, you know, running through the entries of corners as they kind of go through the previous corners. So looks like Thomas and Doug now going to hit some traffic here up ahead.
Yeah, Gerald Nemhart running 16th. I think that might be the reason that Val was had such a slow lap. Gerald's gonna let them both by. Anthony H just came out of the pits. Not sure what he was pitting for. Maybe trying to split that strategy up.
Yeah, got 40 minutes left of the race, so we've just crossed the full hour mark.
Thomas still seeming to pull a bit of time on Val. This is interesting.
Take a look and see what Val's done in terms of the lap time. This lap, bring
Val
it
does
down
a
to a
2:04.1.
2:04.1. So another slow lap from him. I assume that must be the traffic. So we'll see.
Almost
You
at
know,
2:03.6.
being in a little bit clearer air here, hopefully he can bring his times back down to where they need to be.
Maybe he might have possibly used up his tires in an attempt to pull a gap on Thomas. Might be suffering the consequences of it. Thomas might have saved his tires a bit more. Maybe packing a bit less fuel. Who knows? Doug Newman, 0.6 seconds back. Paul Todd looks like might have lost it out of the bus stop. Not sure what happened there. Brief change. It's actually Matt Alexander might have lost it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Paul was able to get ahead of Matt Alexander there. Doug now within a half second of Thomas here. So able to close more time. My God, that's going nuts. Here we go. We got it. We got it. Yeah, Doug 6/10 now, closing that gap again. Doug with a 2:03.6 last lap, so similar to Thomas, but whatever he did through the bus stop, I assume he's been able to close that gap once again.
Oh, big news, Thomas. You're not Thomas, you're Jordan. Big news, Jordan. I just got a text that because they've terminated the use of license plate stickers, they're giving me my refund of $120, and all I have to do is click on that link. I can get my money back. Yep,
Totally.
I'll be 100% gonna be sure to click on that link and not block that number immediately. Remember, guys, stay scam smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Use your common sense. Don't get scammed.
The government will never try to notify you
Government will
something
not
over
text you.
text.
They also will not use the words "so here's your money."
Yeah,
It's not really legal.
That's not how the government works.
That's not legal terminology. Also, here's your CAD return of 120. I love how the government of Canada
has to notify you that it's in Canadian
that they are
dollars.
using Canadian dollars for the transaction, not Bitcoin or Danish kroner.
Or
Thanks.
some Russian rubles, perhaps?
Oh man, that's not going well.
No, it is not.
Yeah, that actually doesn't even say it. It just says CAD, so it might just be like a.
You think it's AutoCAD? It's like $120
Yeah, it's
worth
a
of
solid
like
part file. They didn't even like. It's not even like a standardized.
It's like a Fusion. It's like a Fusion 360.
Yeah.
Like it's basically just a 3D
Solid
CADed number
part.
that says
Yeah.
120. It's just the numbers 1, 2,
Yep.
and 0 like mushed together.
It's not even a what's the standardized file that they use? It's like there's like a standard file. I want to say SLR. It's not SLR.
Oh, STL?
STL. Thank you.
There you go.
It's not even an STL. It's an AutoCAD proprietary file. It's an AutoCAD assembly. I don't have any of the assemblies. That's a CAD joke for anybody. Speaking of CAD, Joseph Yang, avid CAD user in the pits. Perfect segue.
Does he use CAD?
Half a second. He does. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh,
He's,
Thomas losing it.
Thomas loops
Losing the back end, loops it.
Oh, that was the cool battle we were following.
Man, we caught it. The stream got it.
Yang is down and away though.
Yeah, I think Gerald Nemhard's actually going to slip on by Thomas there. Yeah,
He's going to get his lap back the hard way.
Yeah, and Gerald is just going to lift up, let Thomas go. Oof, that hurts Thomas. Really unfortunate mistake. Now 7 seconds to Doug now. So, I mean, Doug being free from the clutches of Thomas, meaning, hopefully he can get his lap times down as well. Thomas has had the pace edge slightly, I'd say, over this race overall. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. We will see. I guess it might all play out as well as these drivers still have to go in for their second stop.
Doug Newman does a 2:04.4 on his last lap. Val does a 2:03.9. So I'm going to attribute those credits to perhaps an evasive action for Thomas.
Absolutely. Thomas doing a 2:11.3. So, yeah, that spin at the toe there really costing him a lot of time.
Lead gap 6 seconds, just about. Val coming out of the bus stop basically as Doug Newman goes into it.
Yeah, Doug Newman going around the carousel here now towards the entry into the boot here. Yeah, Thomas quite a bit behind. He can probably just see Doug up ahead. But yeah, still a 6 whole seconds, so quite a bit of time he's going to have to make up.
Dozier is in the pits, maybe taking that last stop we talked about. We're looking to short fill it and get back out. It's a bold strategy. We'll have to see how things play out. I was expecting cars to have perhaps stop a bit later. Dozier stopped. Jackson goes up and inherits 11th. Al seems to be pulling away from Doug Newman. Thomas almost 6 seconds back after that spin we saw. Very unfortunate.
Absolutely. Doug,
That cost him a lot.
Tires are probably starting to fall off for these guys now. Cars are getting a little bit more squirmy through these kind of mid-speed corners where you just kind of huck the car in and pray. Doug getting a little out of sorts there. 204.3. So yeah, Val back down to a 203.2. So just still flying. Just absolutely flying. It's like a Jackson and Laszlo here. This is the closest battle we have on track right now for 10th.
Jackson tries to move on Laszlo. 11th up to 10th. Got to get that extra point. Critical in the championship.
Absolutely. Big championship implications, as it were.
Come out of the toe. I have to see how this goes. Oops, something has popped up and I no longer see the game.
Uh-oh. Hey, not a game. It's a simulation.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, iRacing is my favorite game. Let's be real.
No, iRacing's my favorite simulator. The I said the Banis is pit out of 7th.
Oh, I wonder if he's going in for a second stop a little early.
No,
he was one of the first ones to duck in. Lee Larson also ducking into the pits. Let's watch Jackson here come to the final corner. Yeah, it's going.
So they might be splitting this up to have the slightly shorter stint in the middle, but at least add up. Jackson's still trying to move on Laszlo. Jackson getting a bit sideways through turn 1.
Oh, Jackson's taking a look on Laszlo. Trying to make the pass through the S's here, going side by side. He'll have to filter in behind and try again here, coming down to a bus stop. Wonder if he actually lifted there or not. Ooh, seems to get a good run here. They'll get side by side.
Wheel in the grass, side by side into the bus stop. Don't know if that's going to work, fellas.
Ooh.
Laszlo still his lead. Oh, through the grass.
Laszlo bailing through the grass and going off the other side there. a little bit of off-road action there.
And a bit sideways. Jackson's going to take 8th. 8th on the road. Don't know how this is going to factor in after his pit stops. Paul Todd also in the pits. Daniel probably not. Daniel. Oh, trouble. Daniel has crashed. Even worse. I was going to say probably not filled with hope seeing smoke going into the bus stop. Probably even less.
Tank slapper there trying to get it going again, too.
Crashed.
Oh, Michael Coisier crashes as well.
Coisier has gone out in the bus stop. Might be oil down on the bus stop.
Yeah, slick is something.
Oh, Gags pits out of 4th. That's one of the first high classified cars we've seen come in.
Wonder if he's going for a strategy gamble here.
Might be. It might be trying a different strategy. Maybe the leaders were intending to stay out for longer. Bit of variation to the strategy at the back. Maybe Gags is trying to side with the people and stop a bit earlier in hopes that he can kind of undercut rather his competition in front of him, down and away. Larson's working on Matt Alexander. Big lunge into the heel. gets by him. Matt Alexander really slow on the outside. I don't know if he has an issue.
Laszlo and Jackson to the pits now as well.
Jackson pits. Laszlo stays out. Right under that car, dirty and destroyed after his brief off-road expedition. Brady getting a bit sideways entering the boot. Jackson down and away. Looks like Jackson's going to exit the pits in 12th, rather. Alexander in the pits. Alex Milo is in.
Yeah, now we're seeing the bulk of our pit stops. Michael
really
Koisier in 11th. Doug Newman close behind him. So, yeah, I guess, you know, the leaders are starting to work through a lot of this lapped traffic here. So top 10, I believe, are last ones really on a lead lap.
For Alex Nemo. You gotta be wondering when the top couple guys are gonna decide to bring it in. Race kind of settled in. 28 minutes remaining. Race kind of shunned away at the moment. Matt Alexander got the second behind Paul Todd. Race cars. Pretty much ain't much happening. I've knocked something over.
Uh-oh.
Next to my sim rig. Don't know what it is. Don't care.
It don't matter. Thomas into the pits now.
Thomas pits. Third place car. Laszlo sitting in 12th, down and away. Laszlo, I think, might have missed a gear on the way out. It's unfortunate.
It do
Alexander,
happen.
4/10 behind Paul Todd. Wonder if any of those guys are going to bring it down pit road. Nope. Gerald coming into the pits. Stops in his box, hits his marks. Down and away. Thomas is still going to come out in third because of that gap back to Brady. Pretty non-consequential pit stop. So a bit of smoke on the entrance into the boot. Don't know who it came from. Alexander half second behind Paul Todd.
Jackson also 7/10 behind Michael Koisier here. A lot of close battles here, raging away on track.
Alexander half a second behind, going into the entrance of the booth. Seems to have solved his problem with the entry into the boot. Now confidently getting a good run. This lap, bad example, drops back a little bit. Paul Todd just a little bit more confident. Paul Todd blows the corner, though. Might be struggling with the front tires on that car. Alexander going to close up a lot. Newman. It's only about 6 seconds behind Val. Goodwood coming into the pits. Even bigger. Val going wide, turn one, gets a little bit sideways, holds onto it.
Jackson on Michael. They're side by side here. Jackson. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. Gonna
Little
force
bump.
Michael outside, but Michael's gonna have the better exit, and he'll slip on by ahead here. Be very, very close.
Ahead for my guys, Alex Milo. Joe Limbert's getting past him up to 15th.
Alexander, Paul Todd very close. Michael and Jackson still going at it. Val chugging away still in the lead here with Doug Newman in the pits here and rejoining out in track. 43 seconds is the gap. Val still yet to pit for his final stop.
13-second gap back to second place for Val at the line. Don't know what it is now. Oh, 35 seconds.
Yeah, we got Brady and Phil jumping into the pits now as well.
Stop. Brady pits, Phil's coming in. I suspect Val will be coming by shortly at some point. If I remember correctly, Val pitted on around lap 17 last time. See if my predictions are correct. Val's got a pretty confident gap back to Doug Newman. Maybe he's hopefully trying to rely on getting some clear air through traffic. I just don't know if it's going to work for him as he's running into some traffic in the second last corner.
Yeah, he's trying to get around Anthony here. He's going to have to be patient, but hopefully Anthony getting all out of sorts there on corner exit. Val's going to take advantage here and slip right through on the inside, and that'll be that car taken care of. Maybe, I mean, let's see, Anthony's still kind of drag racing him in there into turn one. Anthony setting a personal best, but bailing out, seeing Val on the inside. Don't want to ruin the leader's race, of course, so, you know, you do what you got to do.
Remember, these cars will basically do about 20 laps on a tank. So Val's going to have to be coming down at least in the next couple of laps. Val's last lap of 2:03.6. Doug Newman's going to come by and do his first flyer after coming out of the pits. Oh, sorry, that was his out lap. I apologize. He did 2:28. I doubt a 2:28 is his flyer. Sure hope it isn't. Thomas said 2:04.1. So Val about half a second faster. Well, maybe not got those tires quite up to temperature yet. Yeah, he's confidently sitting there in fourth. Pretty large gap ahead, but a pretty large gap behind. A pretty strong stranglehold on fourth. Josh Cronin mispronouncing words experience. Somebody going wide at the exit of the bus stop. I think it might be Laszlo. Was that Laszlo? Let's get a verification. It was Laszlo. Laszlo going wide to let Doug Newman by. No point racing him if he's a lap down. Got just over 21 minutes remaining. Dips a wheel on the exit.
The drivers are really just kind of settled in here. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Thomas has been able to close a little bit of a gap to Doug here after the pit stops here.
Val's going to be pitting this time.
Yeah, Val is now in the pits. We will see where he lands now relative to the other drivers.
Oh, Jackson might have lost it coming out of the boot. But it was always spun to the inside. Coming in a really weird angle to his pit box. I guess it's to get the better exit.
Mm-hmm.
Or he just didn't, or he made a mistake. That's entirely possible too. Doug Newman coming out of the final corner now. Let's see if he'll be able to leapfrog him. Val's down and away. Don't quite think it's going to work, but we'll see how close the gap is. Val's going to be coming out in those cold tires. Gap currently stands at about 6 seconds. Now back up to 8 seconds. Gap's kind of bobbing and weaving, getting used to it, kind of calibrating itself. Now, not only does Val have the cold tires to worry about, Val's also going to have lap traffic to deal with. Went up on 1 or 2 lapped cars. It's not going to help him push as Doug Newman comfortably on the warmer tires.
Yep, Val close
He's getting some
behind
clean.
to Jackson here in 11th as he gets going again.
I imagine Val will probably politely be asking him, "Excuse me, sir. I'd like to get through here if you don't mind." I don't know if I like the color of Val's car. I like it, but I had a TSX that was in a similar color to that. But
It's an interesting color.
it's just not green. I think that's the main issue. Is it's not green.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, as a owner of a green vehicle myself,
All right,
I like green. Green is good.
that's conflict of interest.
But, I can, just outlining the, potential biases I may have. But, when it comes to a British sports car,
I mean,
it's
you
gotta,
kind of gotta get it in
you
green.
kind of gotta get it in green. Green over tan.
Should be true, true. Yeah, this guy
That's
knows what he's talking about.
that's all. This is what it's gotta be. It's because green
Big
over
news.
10.
Doug Newman has set a purple microsector in the second sector. I
Garsh
don't know where that is.
dang.
So he's. I mean,
Yup.
all the rest of them aren't even personal bests, but you know,
It's something.
it is some.
It's something.
Doug Newman's
2029. Woo!
2029. Oh wow,
Flyer.
he's turned on the jets on that car.
Absolutely. Val.
That's the beauty of clear traffic.
Absolutely. Val going to be on a Flyer 2 this lap, so we'll see what he's able to put down. As well, I imagine, with fresh tires, should be able to put down a strong time. So we will see.
Oh, Val's up, taking some liberties through the bus stop.
You do what you got to do.
Slow car
Woo!
on the exit. Not gonna help him.
Yeah, I think that was Matt Alexander, actually. Or who was that? Trying to see
I
who
don't
that
know who
was.
that was.
Could have been Michael
Where is
Koiser,
it?
actually?
That would have been.
Maybe. I don't actually know. No, Michael's still behind, ahead of Val. So I'm not sure who that was, but yeah, silver car, slow there, and probably gave Val a little bit of a scare.
Could have been Thomas. Could have been Paul Todd, maybe. Not sure. Regardless. Oh, somebody's wrecking coming out of the bus stop. Don't know who that is.
Uh-oh.
No, out of the bus stop. Sorry. Let me learn to identify. Out of the toe of the boot, rather. I think it was Jackson Oliveira. Looks like he might have just got loose.
Jackson's still going here. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Slid on
what
over
happened
and just pow hit the wall.
there? Oh, Michael Koiser hanging it out a little bit on the exit of the boot there. Val dipping in now. Second last corner. We'll see where his pace is at over the last stretch of this race.
Looking fast. He's up on his Delta. See how well it goes. A 2:02.1.
Absolute flyer. Clears
Faster than his qualifying time.
Clears over second to Doug behind him. Doug now with a 2:03.5, so huge time delta that lap. Last 60 minutes of this race. Should we take a brief ad break and come back for the last little bit?
Let's do a quick ad break.
Let's
Yep,
do it.
we'll
We
come
will
back
see you
to-
guys in a bit. $600.
Okay, I had to double check. My brother might want one.
Yeah, let me know.
Send me the specs. Thomas gets sideways out of the toe again.
Absolutely. We are back after the little OTA trailer here. Once again, just want to thank our sponsors, of course. We got Hip Motorsports, we got 13
Of course.
Motorsports, and we got
Yep.
Adrena Garage. Hip Motorsports being the sim racing hub for Toronto here. Great facility that they have. 13 Motorsports, great performance shop based out in Brampton. Adrena Garage, also a performance and service shop based out in Oakville. So we thank them for their sponsorship and providing some promotional consideration and prizes for these drivers in the Super Sunday Super Cup. Val, just dealing with some more trial lap
Val
traffic
getting
here.
way
Getting a
sideways through
little bit out of
turn
sorts
one.
there through turn one.
Kind of losing the back end through turn one. Seems to be pretty confident though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that actually cost him a little bit of time to Doug. Doug now within 8 seconds again. Yeah, Val with a 2:03.8 his last lap versus Doug turning away at 2:02, sorry, 2:03.4 rather.
Doug
Yeah,
Newman taking some liberties through the bus stop.
yeah, as most do.
Seems our drivers are. Thomas getting way sideways in the bus stop. Keeps it going straight though.
Skirt, skirt.
Just disadvantage. Gag's still with a almost half a lap disadvantage to the car in front of him. Should be noted Doug Newman's last lap was faster than Val.
Yeah, no, Val, I assume with the lap traffic, you just, obviously you got to be a little bit more patient. You end up losing a little bit of time. This late stage in the race, when you still do have a decent gap, it's not all about trying to. I mean, you do want to clear them as fast as you can, but then again, it's all about risk aversion at this point. You really just want to get the car home with 12 minutes to go. So, if it means having to kind of check up and look for a better opportunity later in the lap, you can. There is a plane flying over the racetrack.
There's Blaine.
There is a plane. That was pretty cool. Let's go to the free cam. Can I get the free cam going here? I don't even remember the shortcut for the free cam.
I think it's F7.
No, it seems to be F5. Or is it F7?
It's F7.
F F7 is not working. Where's the plane? Where's the plane?
It's F7, but you have to enable it, so you might not have it enabled.
I have it disabled. Well,
Man.
that's kind of whack. I was trying to see the plane. But anyways.
Doug Newman catching some lap traffic. Lee Larson actually spun in front of our leader, Val.
Yeah, Lee now. Doug getting by him. Only just. Prior to entrance into the corkscrew, but he gets it done.
Newman entering the boot now. Some lapped cars between Val and Doug. Doug's last lap was still faster than Val. I don't think the lap traffic's going to make that any better, though.
For sure. Val seems to be kind of in clear air here now. I'm not sure who he's got in his delta. Oh, using a little bit of the grass there, as one does. But, yeah, it seems to have pretty clear track in front of him over the late stages of this race. So he can just really kind of head down and try to, close it out on a high note and get some good final laps in. So we're just kind of closing into the 10-minute mark here.
Val actually a lot slower than I would expect. Val's almost 2 seconds off his delta. Doug Newman only a second off the delta as the tires wear out. Even with this lap traffic. Certainly going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Val's last lap, a 2:04.
Yeah, so a bit of a struggle that lap. We're going to ride him with him this lap and see if he can bring that time back down. He does have clear track in front of him, so if he just kind of keeps his focus through this last 10 minutes now, as we just crossed the 10-minute mark, You can get another strong lap in. Yeah.
Should be noted that Doug Newman's last lap was also a 2:04.0. Val's not faster; he's at least equal with Doug Newman. Lee Larson only a second behind Michael Kozier as they come into the bus stop in between this lead battle. Very conservative entry. We had a whole multi-tier system of lap cars passing lap cars that themselves are lapped cars to other cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Val having a pretty clean shake at this lap. You can see really a lot of the drivers that are kind of good pace-wise, really using a lot of that inside curb there through the toe. You get a lot of extra grip there on the inside on your kind of right side tires, and it really helps kind of turn the car through the corner, and you can get on the power earlier. Get a nice little drive on the exit there. Val just kind of chugging away, tugging through this corner. Exit of the boot is really tough because it is kind of uphill, late apex, blindish. I find it's probably one of the most difficult corners on the track, other than the bus stop, of course. Running a bit wide on the last corner there, but still should be a pretty strong lap. We'll see what he puts down as he crosses the start-finish straight here. Yeah, 2:02.4.
2:04. It's an incredible lap, actually, given the state of the tires, the fuel.
Absolutely, 8 minutes left. So it looks like we're going to have 4 laps, really, left to go in this race.
Yeah, about 4 laps. Basically, the only thing Val has to do is not crash.
Yeah.
Confidently come home with another win.
Yeah, he's really walked away with it today. Just really kind of top class
Just a
performance
good
from him.
performance. Yeah, made just good performance. Val does practice a lot. Gag's also practicing a lot, coming in 4th. Gag said he was initially trying to work out some flaws on this car.
But I mean, honestly, Gag's had a pretty quiet race today. We haven't really seen too much of him on the feed. He's really kind of been on his own in terms of his pace from Thomas and the guys in the top 3, and then everyone 5th and below. He's kind of in no man's land, but he's been running a fairly uneventful race. But still, hey, 4th place is nothing to scoff at. He's had very, I guess, minimal fuss for him. So pretty strong result from him. I'm sure a very quiet race other than the start.
Yeah, a good from consistent race for the points. Remember, we still have our consistency championship. Hoping to in the final couple rounds, or certainly the final round, provide you with updates on the standings for the viewers, so we can at least track the storylines all coming to a conclusion through to the final race.
Absolutely, closest battle on track is 2.3, 2.2 seconds with Philip and Joseph Yang here. Battle for 6th. So yeah, kind of contrary to what we've seen over the past couple weeks, where we've had very tight kind of packs in the last closing stages of the race. Field is a little bit more spread out this time, this race, at least in the closing stages of the race. We did have some really good battles throughout.
Joseph Yang loses it out of 6th.
Loops it.
Oh,
bounces
man,
into the wall, and
unfortunate.
That's going to give Philip that 6th place spot.
Brady had lost it coming out of the bus stop, and Joseph Yang didn't see him once he came into the carousel. Saw him, got on the brakes, turned left to avoid, and just lost it. With this mid-engine car, to get on the brakes and turn, it kind of just goes. Very unfortunate. Joseph Yang obviously trying not to ruin both of their races. Unfortunately, going to lose a place because of it.
Absolutely.
Brady
and Phil very close together now as well, yeah. So forget what I said about these close battles not really being present in the closing stations. It's hotting up over the last couple laps here. We've had some great battles throughout the race. It's kind of settled in over the last 20 minutes, but hey, you know what? Late race pressure, it starts to pick up steam, and then this is what happens, right? So let's sit in now with Philip here and Brady and see if anything happens, and we'll keep an eye on the other relatives here, and if there's any more action, we will let you know.
course, I mean, just under 5 minutes left. Juliano disconnected for an unknown reason. He's rejoined now, though. Might have had a problem. Somebody get a bit loose coming into the bus stop. Don't know who that was.
Yeah, Phil within half a second and closing. Really got to focus. Seems to get a good exit out of the turn 1 here. Let's carry that momentum up through the S's. We'll see if he can do anything funky through the bus stop.
Second back, basically going to get probably 2 more laps.
Yep, certainly seems to be the case. Val just crossing the line for 46 laps completed.
The carousel, Phil. Oh, Brady running a bit wide.
Yeah, Brady touching grass.
Oh,
Phil's going to dive inside. Does he make it stick?
Way deep move, but it works.
Oh, brave.
Don't know for how long it's going to work. He is wheeling that car.
That was something. That was oof. That was a good,
very brave
move by Philip. I guess just really taking advantage. Brady's not going to give up without a fight, though. Brady's going to have a look now on the inside. Philip's going to have to yield. They're going to go side by side through this corner here now into the through the heel, up through the exit here, side by side again. Oh, was that contact?
Oh, might have been.
Oh, Philip goes around.
Philip goes around.
I think that was contact. 6. Unfortunately, the camera didn't catch it there. Not sure what happened, and that's going to bring Philip right back into the clutches of Joseph Yang.
So the battles continue.
So close to a top 5 for Philip there. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened with the contact there. I wish I saw it. Camera kind of failed me there, unfortunately. Failed the broadcast, so you guys missed out on that. That kind of
certified Assetto Corsa moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like we can do replays because once again, Assetto Corsa moment. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. Joseph Yang, Phil, really just on it. Just really on it. Both running way wide at a turn 1 as we're crossing 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Joseph's going to have a look on the inside. Let's see where Val is. Val just crossing the line now. So this very well might be our last lap. It's going to be very close to the line, whether or not it is or not. So yeah, Joseph and Phil just really battling here. Joseph getting a little bit out of sorts to the bus stop. It's going to cost him a whole boatload of time. Phil's going to maintain that 6th place spot. Let's take a look at Val. Val now gapping Doug by a whole 10 seconds. And looks like Thomas, same thing. He's about 10-11 seconds behind Doug. So top 5, really just massive gaps. Michael Gaglione a whole 50 seconds behind Thomas Langille. And then Brady 26 seconds behind them. So top 5 really a lot of room, a lot of room for Jesus between those drivers.
100%.
Val just rounding through the boot here, approaching the toe.
Alexander 8/10 second between him and Paul Todd, battling for 13th. Gonna get some decent points in the mid-pack. Don't know if Val will get another lap.
It's gonna be very close for sure as we see Val approaching the heel here, coming through. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be marginal, I think, to be honest. Like, we might get another lap, we might not.
No, we'll have to see.
Val getting
way sideways.
Oh, that. I know, Val. That was intentional.
Oh.
I know, Val. That was
pretty valid.
That was very intentional. So was this.
As you did the last corner, he might be trying to bleed time so he doesn't get an extra lap.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
Way sideways.
Yeah.
A little bit overzealous.
Little snap there, just showing off. And there we go. That's last lap and crossing the line. Val with a dominant win this evening. Doug now crossing the line into second place here. Doug, very strong performance from him for second.
Thomas coming
Thomas
through for
next
third.
to cross here. Get him cross the line in third. And then we're going to have, I don't even know where the hell everyone else is.
Alexander still in the boot.
Yeah, Michael Koizier is going to finish in 9th, Lee Larson 10th, Jackson 11th, Laszlo going to cross the line in 12th place here as he crosses the line. What else? Who else we got going on here?
Alexander and Paul Todd are still battling.
Yeah, yeah.
0.8 seconds. I don't think he's really going to be able to make a move.
Yeah, he gets a good exit, but it's not going to be enough to run to the line here. So Paul Todd going to come home in 13th place with Matt Alexander close behind in 14th. Let's see where Gags is here. Yeah, just crossing the last corner here. So he's going to cross the line now in 4th place. Really strong performance from him. I believe next on the docket here, Brady, who's going to cross the line now in 5th, and then we got Philip and Joseph close behind. So Brady just rounding the final corner here, tucks it in nicely, strong exit. And Brady is going to cross the line in 5th. Really, really strong race from Brady, especially in the late stages. They're battling with Philip there. I mean,
Yeah,
there was a bit of
pretty
contact, but really, really great race from him overall. I mean, just
kind
awesome
of a
work from
dark
him.
horse.
Absolutely.
Pretty kind of flew under the radar, but fifth, not an excuse to, not a result to scoff at.
Absolutely not. Daniel Santibana is going to cross the line now in 8th. And then who do we got? Who's the last of our finishers? Looks to be Alex Milo.
Milo.
Alex going to kind of round the last corner here. I think that's still Val ahead of him, just hanging it out.
Val is sliding it.
Yep,
Val has
Val's just
just about lost it.
just goosing it.
Gets into the pits. Alex Milo is going to be our last to cross the line, but not last on track.
Absolutely. Alex Milo cross line at
and
16th.
he's crashed immediately.
And bounced off the wall and woo.
And it's make sure to write off both sides of the
All
facilities here at
right.
Watkins Glen.
And that was our race.
Our winner?
Yeah, let's bring our winner in.
Where is he? Let me go get him.
We will go get him. All right. While we wait for Val, I'm going to run a little ad real quick, and we'll be back. All right, we are back with our race winner, Val DiPietro.
Hi.
Great race from you, Val. Really, really dominant. Honestly, over the entire race, you had more pace than anybody else, and you actually managed to, create a pretty huge gap throughout the entire race. I think you won by a whole tenth of a lap compared to everybody else. So, yeah, really strong race from you. Just walk us through, I guess, the overall strategy and just how it felt, kind of working through traffic and how the car felt and everything.
The car felt really good throughout the whole thing, and I think I accidentally sort of settled into a strategy that had slight benefits over the rest of the field. Like I took a full fuel load right off the gate, knowing that the fuel doesn't affect me too much, and I wanted the flexibility later for pitting, earlier and later for traffic. And then I realized that fuel is really long in this car, and taking a full fuel load right off the bat already gives me a few seconds in hand for people who are doing like 30, 30, 30.
Right.
Because I think it was like something like 90 something liters to get to the end.
I think it was 94 to get to the end.
Yeah. So that meant my last
98
stint
rather
was my tires and my fuel were the exact same time. It was only 20 liters that I put in on my last stint.
Well,
and unfortunately, I couldn't go any faster. I saw a 2-minute 2:0 on the board before I screwed it up.
I mean, honestly, you're deep into the low 202s. You're cruising.
Yeah.
Only one really to get there. Doug, I think, was able to squeeze a high 202 at one point during the race, but with him and Thomas battling, obviously it was costing them time. So you were able to just kind of walk away with it while those two were keeping each other company.
Those two, yeah. Any fighting that they did just basically meant that they weren't going to be in a position to catch me if I made a mistake. I was cruising, occasionally chasing the lap time
Cruising, you
here and
were.
there. I mean, there was a lot of voice chat going on. We were having a vibe, having a party.
That's good. That's good. I always like to see that people are happy during the race and not grumpy.
No, people,
That-
people like the car and the combo. It's challenging. It's a little bit. It drives a little bit weird.
Does it?
But
Is it because it's
figure it
got like
out.
an electronic diff or something in it, or is
The
it?
E-diff, yeah, would really tighten up the car when it would engage, which was annoying to me. But like the on the brakes feel like when you hit the brakes, the car gets really stable. But then there's like this point where if you release too quickly, it snaps into oversteer.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not really good at at trail braking and you don't know that that's going to happen, you just go in with so much yaw and it's so hard to catch because it's mid-engine. So like being super smooth on the brakes was a big asset, and knowing how to jump the curbs at the bus stop was also like a big time game on this track.
Yeah,
Oh,
you guys
the
were
bus
running
was a
really
ton.
close, especially on I guess the initial curb, like on the entry to the bus
Yeah,
stop. Like you
we
guys were
were
running
flirting with the wall.
right by the wall, basically.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it seemed to take the curbing really well, and
Yep.
the bus stop's super bumpy. So I mean, obviously there was a bit of a compliance in those
Yeah.
Lotuses, which really helped.
Yeah, it's a street car, so
Exactly.
very soft, very nice. Sounded good. The really funny part was like I was having flashbacks because my computer crashed at in the last league race that I did.
Yes.
I did a shift on the second last lap and something fell off of my sim onto the ground and I don't know what it
Oh
was.
no.
So
Uh-uh.
I gotta find out what that piece was.
Hopefully
Yeah,
it wasn't
I kicked
important.
something at some point.
It's like, oh no, is my shifter gonna break? Because if it breaks, like I gotta like cruise in third for like 2 laps and hope that Doug doesn't catch me.
Probably could have
Ooh.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have.
Yeah, maybe.
Glad I didn't have to.
Well, hopefully whatever fell off wasn't important.
When you do the next interviews, you should totally bring in Doug and Thomas together.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna do
Oh, I
that.
might do that.
But it was a good race. I really liked it.
I'm
No,
glad
Thanks
to
for
hear that.
having
glad
me.
you had a good time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, thank you, Val. Honestly,
Alright.
great race once again, and
Thanks.
congrats on the win.
Thank you very much.
It's coming up. Val. There goes Val too. Well, let's bring both of them. Give me a sec.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna grab Thomas and Doug here. Let's bring them in. We got
Uh,
Doug,
there's
and there's
Val.
Thomas.
We're interviewing both of you guys at the same time.
Gentlemen, welcome
Because
to the booth.
Val, congrats on second and third respectively. Val told us to interview both of you for some reason at the same time. Well,
We spent a
did I
lot of
miss
time
it?
on track together.
Yeah,
I was
you guys
like,
were
did I miss a joke?
you guys were keeping each other real cozy, and y'all were worrying about each other. It was good. There was a
Mutual
lot of back and
respect
forth.
everywhere.
Yeah, I know it was great.
Yeah.
You talk us through each of your race and how it went.
You want to go first, Thomas?
There you go. You won.
Go ahead, Doug.
So yeah, I don't know. I did spend a ton of time this week practicing. Unfortunately, I was just really busy with work and family stuff. So I felt a little inconsistent on the long run. So when the tires started wearing, I think Thomas just turned out to be a little bit faster than me, and I was really struggling. And then I kind of felt the opposite effect when I had fresh tires and he had fresh tires. I think I had a bit more pace. So there was yeah, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun. I think Thomas and I had a great time, and this time I ended up coming out ahead. But
Yeah,
could be different next week.
You seem to be having a fun time, Thomas. I know that it was in about the middle of the race. You had your own spin. Was that just a self spin, or did you get help?
No, yeah, I had two mistakes on that corner.
Oh, trouble.
That kind of held me up. It's just coming up the hill, one hand turning in while downshifting in a second. I would just maybe give a little over rev, and then it would just spin out. Sometimes in practice, I was able to just like awesomely power slide up the hill. This time, I got a tank slapper. That was
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in the siege when it does go. It's gone.
well, there's your problem.
Yeah,
no,
it was pretty fun. I didn't expect to undercut Doug, and I was ahead of him.
Yeah, no,
At one
I mean,
point-
you gained a lot of time. Like I know you ducked into the pits. Like especially at the first stint, you undercut him and got him because like I mean Doug was defending really hard. You did have the pace at the time, but Doug wasn't making it easy for you for sure, as we've seen previously in this series as well with Doug and his great defensive driving. But you managed
He's
to
super
get ahead in the
fast.
pits there, and then Doug was kind of having to do some work to try to get around you. And yeah, no, it was really fun to watch you guys kind of keep each other company over the course of the race, and how your slightly different pit strategies played out, and each of you had advantages through different parts of the track, so you guys were kind of closing in on each other and gapping each other in certain parts. It was great to watch.
I definitely wasn't consistent in the bus stop. That's where he get back up on me. I was like, dang it, now another lap to go by. In the
Yeah,
beginning, I caught him in T1 and like had to run up the hill, but like you can't make a second line up the hill.
No, it's hard. You'll try, and then you'll just lose any advantage you got coming out of turn one, and then you got to filter back in behind.
That's all I got. I mean, you guys had a great race.
It was the most entertaining endurance race we've had so far.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's good.
how'd you guys like the car?
can I be honest?
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I don't
It's
like it.
wearing. It's
Oh,
last
boy, yeah, skill issue.
I
was-
find
no,
that
I'm
you
kidding.
can't
Yeah,
drive
no,
it
it's-
hard to get the lap time. You have to be really delicate, and that's
Yeah.
something that is a failing of mine probably.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's
At
true.
least he's honest. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, it's just built
Yeah.
bad. He's
No,
like,
if I recall, I think when we did the first season of the OTA series and we did the Exige S convertible automatic, which is obviously much softer than the V6 Cup, but similar,
Mhm.
obviously chassis and same idea. It was that. It's very much like you have to drive it according to its limits, and maybe not necessarily what you think its limits are. It's like, no, the car's strict limits, so you need to like adhere to it, right?
yeah, they've
Um,
designed it. They've designed it with
and that's how to
handling in mind, and it's you
exactly.
have to drive it like that.
Yeah, it's a car that you adapt to its driving style. It doesn't adapt to yours.
I think because of the tire pressures we were in on it too, it didn't have optimal grip, and so it didn't bite on the turn in a lot with the front end. You had to be really on the brakes. So keeping it in a nice slip angle through like these long corners was very difficult.
Yeah, it seemed. I mean, a lot of people seem to struggle with like entry understeer. Just having to trail it on the brakes to pitch some more weight over the nose to get it to turn in. Otherwise, it just like
It-
if you carried a little bit too much entry speed, you're just yeah.
If you brake too hard, it comes around. Like
Right.
this is a car where even Val, the super smooth butter man, like he was actually churning some butter there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no,
when,
Val
when
Val
he
had
starts
Val
falling
had
at
one
the
or two
wheel, it
moments,
scares
but
me.
yeah, for sure. It's not very forgiving. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad that some people liked it.
It wasn't bad. It was just you had to be very careful.
Yeah,
it was a different car for sure.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes.
Next week's
Yeah.
car is gonna be, you gotta be careful too, because next week's car doesn't have a shift nanny, so be careful.
Boom, boom.
I don't think this one did either.
Bada bing, bada bing.
Yeah, I definitely money shifted it once in the
maybe.
race, but it didn't do that much damage. So
Oh well,
we're
next
cool.
week's car is a bit less forgiving when you do it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, back
Uh-oh.
mono or BAC mono. That's gonna be a good one.
It's got paddles, right?
Yes.
It does have paddles.
Yes.
Where are we going?
It's
Imola.
gonna be at Imola.
Nice. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, should be. I hope it's good. That's why I put it there. That combo was originally supposed to be Expos at Long Beach, and I realized that the Expo was kind of poopy, and Long Beach isn't as fun as I think it is.
I like Long
Yeah.
Beach, but I think I'm the only person in the
Oh,
universe who
I
likes
like Long Beach, but running for an hour and 40 minutes at Long Beach.
Wait, is that like
that
the
sounds like
Long
torture.
Beach that's on like Forza, that kind of Long Beach?
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
street,
street circuit.
circuit.
Oh, that
in-
was good.
in
That was
Long
good.
Beach,
Yeah.
That was a fun
California.
one.
No, it's good, but for an hour and 40
Hour
minutes.
40
in
minutes kind of
Expos,
sounds like torture. I'm gonna be honest.
the issue with the Expo is because the Expo was, when I was testing the combos, when the Expo was so light, you just couldn't put heat in the tires. Like you would just spin it because it's all the corners on a street circuit are pretty much low speed. So they're just you had no point ever got heat in the tires, which is why I chose Imola, because Imola is like an actual racetrack where you can like actually drive the car normally and not like it's not like a road in the greater Los Angeles area. But anyway,
Fun
we go to our fair share of roads later on.
Well, regardless, Imola and back is perfect.
Yeah, should be fun. All right, well, thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, John.
There they go. All right, I think that's about it. Yeah, no, we had a pretty good round today. Seemed that the drivers were pretty content with it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was a
Sounds
pretty
good.
close racing. Obviously, the packs kind of spread out after the first couple laps, but The packs that did remain on track were very closely matched throughout basically the entire race. So actually, really good one this week. Looking forward to the Imola BAC Mono combo next week. That's gonna be a good one too.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting.
Absolutely.
Should have some good battling all throughout the entire I can't remember the word for it. Field.
Yes.
Should be fun. I think
Absolutely.
that's about everything. I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same for myself as well. And once again, just want to thank our sponsors, Hip Motorsports, 13 Motorsports, Adrena Garage, of course, OTA, Ontario Thomas CAC, who help us put this on week in and week out. Couldn't do it without them.
Thank
And
you.
we appreciate you guys for watching. And yeah, yeah. I'm Jordan Bazugli.
About everything.
This is Josh Cronin as well in the booth.
Hello.
And we are saying good night. Have a good week, and we will see you on Sunday, March 6th for Imola, BAC Monos. It's going to be a good one. We'll see you then.
See you in March.
Take care.